What is our problem with the Igbos? We come and say one Nigeria, one Nigeria. Now they change the national anthem and brought the old one to talk about we being together. But it's all a lie. It's all lip and mouth service. I don't know what is our problem. Why are we afraid of the people from the southeast? Then we say we are one Nigeria. When they are now saying they want to leave Nigeria so that they can have Biafra, we fight it. If we know they are not important, why are we not letting them go? Now when it comes to power, we don't trust them. All of us northerners must team up behind Obi. We have suffered under our own so-called northerners. Why did Wike destroy PDP? He destroyed it because he said it was the turn of the south and that the ticket should be zoned to somebody from the south. That was his fight. That was his grievance. So why should it now be okay to say that it should remain in the north? That time when they were advocating and saying PDP has said it must be north-south, and that time it was the turn of the south. But even though that was what PDP stood for, what did Atiku do? He stood again from the north. He's trying to do the same thing. Mr. Atiku, you're doing the same thing again. Tinubu is now going for 4 years. Then there's another 4 more years for a southerner. Since Tinubu has destroyed Nigeria, and it's obvious Nigerians don't want him. So that's why now it's good to allow it to stay in the south. To stay in the south, it shouldn't stay with Tinubu. And there is a region that has not been given a chance. Since 1999, they've not had a chance. Southeast. What is the problem that people don't want to be? Is it because people are scared? What are they scared for? Because they want to continue corruption? They want to continue to loot the resources of the nation, destroy the nation, while people are suffering, they are enjoying? Anybody that's standing to support Atiku now, I think they are supporting a second term of Tinubu. I know I came in peace, but you know, it's getting to me right now. I don't know what else to say. Mr. Atiku, please do the right thing. And I call upon you, David Mark and Arebo Sola, please you people do the right thing. All the people that are under AGC, except if you people have already done a secret deal and it's all window dressing from the outside, making it look as if we are all coming together in a coalition. But already behind closed doors, they've already decided who will be.
Are you a Nigerian? If you are a Nigerian, have you noticed the incessant attacks on Peter Obi? Now, you may think that the attack on Peter Obi is based on his origin of being an Igbo man. Well, that may be part of the reason, but the main reason why Peter Obi is incessantly attacked is because of the corruption industry. Corruption has established itself in Nigeria so much so that it has become an acceptable norm. You know, it even grieves me that certain youths are now seeing corruption as an acceptable system to politics. One yesterday in my live program was trying to educate me on how politics is being played, and I asked him, how do you play politics? And he was trying to, you know, justify the criminality behind what some notable people like Tinubu, who is acclaimed to be a strategist, he was trying to justify the criminalities behind success in politics. Politics may be described as a dirty game, but it is definitely not a criminal enterprise. Because it is described as a dirty game, it simply means some of the antics that politicians employ to get votes. But it doesn't mean recruiting thugs to adorn themselves and suddenly become Catholic bishops. It doesn't mean buying off INEC. It doesn't mean bribing the judiciary. It doesn't mean taking a stranglehold on the tenets of Nigerian administration. It doesn't mean turning Nigeria into a one-party state. It doesn't mean giving your kinsmen and tribal prodigies choice appointments in Nigeria. The reason why they are fighting Peter Obi is because they see in him somebody who is going to change the corruption industry. So what we are having in Nigeria is a corruption team versus the Nigerian team. Now, some people are in this corruption team without knowing that they are in corruption team. And this set of people are those fighting for religious supremacy and tribal supremacy. You might be saying, I want Tinubu because he's a Yoruba man. Oh, I want Tinubu because it signifies Muslim ticket. I can assure you that that is not what the cabal are fighting for. The cabal are fighting to sustain the corruption industry. So where are you? You may think you are fighting to sustain religion. You may think you are fighting to sustain Yoruba supremacy in Nigeria. But the truth is that these things really doesn't bother the chairman and elected representative of the corruption industry. What they really want is that Nigeria remains a place where people can actually loot so that they can sustain their lifestyle. I told you in some of my previous videos, I told you about my experience in one of these hotel, Nikon Luxury in Abuja, where a serving senator had two beautiful, long-legged, yellow-looking, pawpaw-like, succulent baby. Went to his room to spend the night, and a cart, C-A-R-T, of wine was rolled down to that room. And I know those wines are expensive. And it's your money they're using to flag off those excess lives. They come back home and say, one alcohol. Now them drink alcohol pass. See, I am doing these things to educate you. While you think you are fighting for your tribal interest, or you think you are fighting for your religious interest, the truth is that these people you are fighting for, they don't care about your religion, they don't care about your tribe, they just want to sustain the corruption industry. And Peter Obi is a notable hindrance to that corruption industry. So now that you know, where do you belong? To sustain a Nigeria that we can be proud of, or to sustain the corruption industry? The choice is yours.
I'm a citizen of a country that is not yet born, a victim of Nigeria looking to have a better country in the future. Peter Obi is a man that I admire a lot. I don't expect him to dictate what should happen in the Labour Party. When did he join them? The Labour Party is a party. It's not, I believe that if it's a party, to an extent, they would have to find a democratic means of resolving their differences. Peter Obi is not in a position to dictate the terms of their settlement to them, and I don't expect him to. Obviously, Kenneth Okonkwo has a different understanding of what Peter Obi's response should have been. He is a politician, just like Peter Obi is a politician. They are the ones who decide what political tactics works for them as politicians. Me, I'm not a politician. As of today, if there were to be a presidential election, Peter Obi is the person I'll still queue behind, because I believe in his capacity to take Nigeria in a non-violent manner to the revolution that I desire. I wish to see Nigeria turn around, and I don't want to see that happening violently. And I believe that Peter Obi has the mass appeal and the capacity to unite this country behind a vision for a better future. That is the basis. As at today, I don't know what he might do tomorrow that might change my mind. I'm a free agent. It might be that tomorrow he decides to align himself with persons that I do not believe I can work with, people that I believe cannot bring anything good to Nigeria, and on account of that I might decide, okay, hasta la vista, we can't work together. But as of today, barring any dramatic happenstance, I remain solidly behind Peter Obi, and I will continue to support him into 2027 if he's going to run, and if we have managed to reform our electoral system. Because any election without a reformation of our electoral system, I'm not interested. Peter Obi did not lose the last election. Peter Obi won the last election. INEC and the Judiciary performed their magic. 2027, there will be no election without a reformation of our electoral system. If the electoral system is not reformed to ensure that beavers and electronic transmission from the polling unit becomes compulsory, I would not even bother to participate in that election, because you can be sure that Tinubu was not in power that ran and snatched and grabbed it, already has the 2027 election results written. A Tinubu that will be busy appointing Wike's man as electoral commissioner, the most violent election rigger in Nigeria today, openly, is Wike. That is the person whose proxy was being appointed as
that's a weighty allegation.
Electoral commissioner.
That's a weighty allegation.
I said it because it's on video. Now what I beg, she will stop being politically correct. There are multiple videos and audios of Wike enforcing his political will in Rivers State over and above the sovereign will of the people of that state. Violently too. So this is not, please, I don't do beer parlor talk.
No, because
and when you need to balance things, you can, are you suggesting, okay, so let's turn it into an argument. I am saying here, my name remains Dele Farotimi, and I am saying that there are more than enough material online showing Wike violently suppressing the right of the people of Rivers State to elect their chosen representatives. And I am saying that his personal aide, his person, has already been appointed a resident electoral commission since Tinubu came to power. So how can you be talking about a free and fair election in 2027 when it's already a fait accompli that without consequential amendment of the Electoral Act, without a consequential reformation of our judicial system, the same madness that took place in 2023 will repeat itself in 2027. If we do not tell ourselves these basic truths ahead of time, how can we even hope that anything will change? We have to be unapologetic and unrepentant in pushing the truth in their eyes. As I've told you, the truth is both a sword and a shield. I love wielding it as a sword and smashing them on the head with it, and I don't care for their feelings. I don't know how long any one of us is going to live. I'm not going to live my life kowtowing to the opinion, sentiments, or emotions of worthless human beings who have wrecked the life of thousands and millions by their actions and inactions. So we cannot be talking about an election in 2027 in the presence of the multiple madnesses that have remained with us, in the presence of a situation where a corrupt INEC chairman will open his mouth and blithely declare on national TV, go to court. We can't be having that and be talking about an election in 2027. We must at least be honest enough to tell ourselves what is in front of us. If there is going to be an election worthy of his name, I will be out there supporting Peter Obi. If there will be an election, and if we still even have a country, the way Bulaba is going with Nigeria, what do we know that will be left of this country by 2027? What will be left of this country? An emir is being killed in his own domain after ransom war, and we are talking about 2027. An Oba was killed. 2 Obas, for instance, were killed in Ekiti for the other time, and we are still talking about 2027. You practically don't have a functional state again. Somebody is single-handedly, without recourse to any due process, the due process law be damned, the PPP law be damned, single-handedly without public tender of any sort, be awarding a road at 4 billion naira per kilometer, and you are still talking about a country. Why are we lying to ourselves? We must, even if they will not agree, we must be unapologetic in telling these truths. Whether we would have a country in 2027 is up in the air. Hunger has become, a real issue.
So, I mean, the government of the day will say, Mr. Farotimi, that they are making...
Which government? The government that cannot even ensure that we have fuel. Which government? Do you have government? You have exploiters, buccaneers, thieves.
But, I mean,
which government?
The government of the day will say they are making efforts in fixing the problem that they met on the ground. It's still early in the day. They just have about a year.
I'm Chinese too. I'm Chinese and I'm 6'7". Do you believe me? The government of the day has said they are making effort. We see the effort now. They are making effort. They are buying private jet. They are buying yachts. They are spending 21 billion to renovate. They are spending 90-something billion on Hajj. Is that the? And then they are falsely and fraudulently implementing Orosanye report. They are busy privatizing NNPC. We are busy refining in Malta and everywhere. We see the effort they are making. So I'm Chinese too, Sheung, and I'm 6'7". Do you believe me?
So you don't see any good that this government has done since the last 1 year?
Do you see it?
No, I'm asking, because I'm a journalist. I'm asking.
I had no expectation of anything good from this government. Nobody steals power to benefit the people. It does not happen. I do not expect the mercies of a thief who has robbed me. I was not under any illusion whatsoever about this government.
But when you say that the election was stolen, there are those who argue that the elections were fraud. The candidate you're talking about came a distant third. The case went to court, and the first court of first instance went to the Supreme Court, and the court validated the outcome of the election as pronounced by INEC, and that the lawyers were unable to prove that the elections were rigged or fraught with irregularities. How then will you be able to say that the mandate was stolen?
Sure. Let me say something, right? You know, the ICPC was set up by Obasanjo. ICPC said that as of 2018 to 2020, 9.45 billion was paid as bribes to lawyers, by lawyers to judges. I didn't say that. Justice Kayode just said judges are becoming billionaires because they are sitting on electoral tribunals. Dele Farotimi didn't say that. If you believe for 1 second that the Nigerian Judiciary did justice in the 2023 election cycle, I have dollars to sell to you. Just bring money, let's go and buy chemical. What I will say to you is this, Sheung. Yorubas have a proverb. They say that two people cannot be equally fooled by a lie. If the person telling the lie is unaware that he is lying, the person being told the lie should know that a lie is being told. At least the person against whom the lie is being told should also be aware that a lie has been told against him. I say it without any equivocation. The Nigerian judiciary, by its multiple somersaults in the last electoral cycle, established beyond any argument the fact of its complicity in the rape of democracy in 2023. People can hold their opinions, and that's the beauty of opinion. Everybody is entitled to one. Even me. You may or may not agree, but I am still entitled to that opinion, and that is my opinion.
Let's wrap up. Where do we go from here to have the kind of country or a nation that will be for the betterment and for the good of all Nigerians? Where do we go from here?
No, we as a people and as a collective would have to resolve to be better than we have been. We would all have to, as a collective, admit to our part, our fault in what has happened to us as a people. This is not something that is not a sectoral guilt. It's a systemic problem. From the pulpits in the churches and mosques, which stinks to the highest heavens, to the groves, the sacred groves of our land, all the places of religiosity in our country have become temples of iniquity. We need to look at ourselves. Me as a person, you as a person, we as a collective, we need to look at ourselves. It's very easy to point fingers at sectors, but the reality is that there is no part of our country that is free of putrefaction. is a systemic collapse. If there is anything that will change, if anything would ever change, it would have to be that we as a collective with good leadership decide to try a different pathway. Outside of that, what will happen is that by the time Kekere Ekun is leaving, you will be asking me or someone else again if the new acting CJ would be able to change the system. No single person can change Nigeria. It will take the collective resolving that they are tired of where they are before anything would ever change in our country. It has taken the collective to normalize the madness that we have become acculturated to. And it will take a critical mass, if not a majority, if that madness is going to ever change.
The APC government is very much afraid of Mr. Peter Obi and what he represents, and the fact that he goes around meeting with people, he gives hope that they have stolen from the people, and he's welcome in anywhere that you see him. And so you're getting to see these tactics that they want to assume that, oh, he shouldn't come to their state. You know, the second governor has said it. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see the third, fourth, and fifth one and going on. And so, yes, there's now Nigerians, or we should be worried about the situation of things right now, because there are threats to his life, and these threats are not things that should be taken very lightly, and these threats are not being made by people whom you just dismiss with a wave of the hand. These are people who are supposed to be upstanding members of the society, but they are using their threats against Mr. Peter Obi. Yeah, of course, it's something that is worrisome, and I think the state in itself should, well, if there was a state, that is because we have a state capture in Nigeria. Otherwise, security agencies should be should be on alert and ensure that they are safeguarding, Mr. Peter Obi. At this stage, honestly, his life is in danger, because we are seeing people who feel very uncomfortable, who feel threatened by his popularity, by the fact that people like him, by the fact that people, he's out there doing the things that they should be doing. The failure of government, he's the one who is fixing it. And at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, we see it every day. He happens to be the de facto, president of Nigeria, because every problem, everything that you would usually call in the president, it's Mr. Peter Obi that is being called instead of the person who is currently occupied.
Welcome back to Gistline. We have heard what these people have to say, and it's obvious Nigerians are not keeping quiet anymore. The streets, social media, and even political cycles are buzzing with one question: why is Atiku so desperate to become president, even when it's clearly not the North Turn? And while we are at it, why is the APC government going out of its way to drag Peter Obi through the mud at every opportunity? Let's talk about Atiku first. This man has run for president for 6 times and failed. Then, after the 2023 elections, instead of stepping aside to allow for political balance and zoning, Atiku is once again positioning himself for 2027. And Nigerians are calling it what it is: pure selfishness. The South hasn't fully had its time, and power rotation was meant to foster unity. But for Atiku, it's like the North must rule indefinitely. It's no longer about Nigeria, it's about one man's obsession with Aso Rock. People are tired. They want fresh faces, not recycled politicians with baggage. Now to APC. Instead of facing Nigeria's crumbling economy, rising insecurity, and skyrocketing food prices, they've made Peter Obi their number one target. Every week there's new attempt to discredit him, distract his supporters, or frame him in the media. Why? Because they are scared. The APC knows Peter Obi represents a new wave of politics, which is accountability, youth engagement, and honest leadership. Unlike the usual money-back politics, Obi's movement threatens the status quo. That's why they are doing everything to silence him. Nigerians are watching, they see the games. Whether it's Atiku's shameless ambition or APC's bullying tactics, people are waking up. 2027 is not that far, and the political elite better be ready for a new Nigeria that doesn't play by their old rules anymore. Please let me know what you think in the comment section, but before then, please kindly like, share and subscribe.
As you say, Peter Obi now una toughest nightmare, una toughest sleepless night una dey get. Una no dey rest because of Peter Obi. E dey shock una say after Peter Obi lose first that other election, e still dey news till today. Every minute in dey news. That thing dey pain una. And Peter Obi no dey use money buy love. People dey love Peter Obi genuinely. You understand? So this thing na dey pain una. I wan try do everything. You understand? You guys are trying everything possible to degrade him or make una kill him ego. Make people say and say be this one so that him no go follow una contest. But una fail because Peter Obi na very strong contender and a very strong person wey be say una go drag am till the end. You understand? So now wetin dey try do with this? And if una do this in last now, e come result to violence and war, tribal war within this Nigeria now. Una no go dey to do this thing. See wetin una dey insert for public. See wetin una dey talk for public. Because una dey fear Peter Obi. He don dey give all of una sleepless nights. But well, I no go talk much until that time reach. You understand? This thing una dey talk dey very wrong o. You get?